Very good morning, everyone. We'll start our lecture 1 of the course Fundamentals of Agronomy, starting with the lecture 1 with History of Agriculture. As we know that man evolved 15 lakh year ago, that is Homo erectus, and the modern man Homo sapiens evolved around 30 lakh year ago. We see that agriculture started when it is around 50,000 year ago, and hunting and gathering was a primary source of food in olden days and prevailed by long time. So most of the people, when evolution started, they were not dependent on agriculture. It was the hunting and gathering. Further in sequence, agriculture development took place and started in 50,000 year ago, and the domestication of sheep, goat, cattle took place accordingly. You see, the further they started enjoying by settling at one place near the river and started agriculture system. And any civilization also started on the banks of a river. See, the agriculture system of the world generally it was shifting cultivations, simple sedentary cultivation, simple plough cultivation, and advanced modern agriculture. So this way, the agriculture development started in the world. Whether first it was a shifting cultivation where man used to cut the trees at a particular place, that go for cultivation and move to the next place, and few were going for the sedentary cultivation. And after this, now we are going towards the modern agricultural practices. Yes. What is shifting cultivation? It's also called as jump cultivation. It is also called as jump cultivation, where the moving of one place to another, especially the riverbeds, by clearing the forest through a fire and broadcasting the crop seeds like paddy, chili. It is also called as jumming or jum cultivation. In shifting cultivation, where people move from one place to another, where they go for cultivation and they cut the trees, go for cultivation and move to the next place. The next and simple sedentary cultivation, where people used to dig a pit with the sharp spade, then it is a then they used to sow for the seed. The common in Asian countries and crop cultivated such as banana, coconut, arecanut, root tubers. Then simple plough cultivation, when plough was developed, were practiced with the small plough and animal plough for rice cultivation. Further, in the present era, the modern agriculture, we use modern machines, techniques for crop cultivation. If you see the agriculture history, it is divided into three phases. The first phase is ancient period from 800 BC to the present fall of Rome of 476 AD. Further, the medieval period from 1476 AD to 1600 AD, and the modern period from now, that is from 1600 Anno Domini, that is AD. The ancient period from early 8800 BC to the 1476 AD was the start of ancient agriculture. If you see the sequence of periodic activities that has taken place in the event, the first hunting and gathering was around 1000 BC. The first animal domesticated was sheep. It was 8700 BC, followed by goat. It is around 7700 BC. After 1000 years later, goat was domesticated. The next, the shifting cultivation of crop, the mainly first crop cultivation was wheat, followed by barley at 7500 BC, and the domestication of cattle and pig was 6000 BC old. And the crop cultivation started after the barley, it was maize in 4400 BC, and followed by potato, it was 3500 BC. This is very important. The invented wheel, the first wheel which is made from the stone, was invented in 3400 BC, followed by bronze was used for making a tool for 3000 BC. What is bronze? Is a alloy which is made from the copper and zinc. The invented plow started irrigation farming in 2900 BC. Very important. When was plow invented? It was invented 2900 BC. When was wheel invented? It was invented 3400 BC. So further cultivation of few chickpea, cotton and mustard in 2300 BC. The first rice cultivation date back to the 2200 BC. The first rice cultivation, followed by sugarcane cultivation in 1500 BC, and first use of iron plow was 1000 BC, and the Xenophon, a Greek historian, mentioned about plowing of green material to enrich the soil in 430 to 330 BC. It was Cato who gave the importance of plowing and manuring. it is around 234 BC, and the Virgil mentioned about crop rotation and inclusion of legume to increase the soil fertility date back to the 19 BC. The cultivation of sweet orange around 15th century and a new era, that is after Anno 16th century, introduction of crops from India by Portuguese such as potato, sweet potato, tomato, chili, pumpkin, papaya, guava, cashew, tobacco, cotton was done in 16 AD. See the mention about agriculture, date back to Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, we have highlights of agriculture. In Rig Veda, green cultivation, cattle rearing, use of plough and sickles has been mentioned. In Atharva Veda, we have different crops grown in different seasons. So it shows that it was not new, it was way back during Vedas where cultivation of crop has been mentioned. The Roman agriculture, shows that Cato was the early Roman agriculture. He drew much information about Greek literature, such as the good plowing is more important for even manuring, gave direction of care and livestock and cultivation of the soil. Another Varro in the year 1616 BC was a traveler, soldier, farmer, statesman. His writing on agriculture may be divided into three parts. First is cultivation of fruit, grains, legumes, raising of large animals and raising of small animals. Then Columella wrote 13 short books on agriculture. Among the practice, Roman books following must be listed. The through littlage, greenware, crop rotation, use of lime, application were the books written by the Columella. Then next is after ancient period, it is medieval period from 476 AD to 1600 AD, during which British, Gupta, Maurya, Magadha has been mentioned about the agriculture. A Greek ambassador, Megasthenes, came to India and mentioned how Indian people giving importance to maintain the fertility. See, before Green Revolution, it was ideal condition, or the soil condition was very good. After Green Revolution, extensive cultivation practices, extensive use of fertilizer, the soil is deteriorating now. The next, it is Kautilya, a famous economist, mentioned the role of a king in protecting agriculture. He emphasized on drying seeds and storage. See, Kautilya has mentioned about how we to store seeds for the future generation. It is Saint Parasara in his book Krishi Parasara mentioned operations for paddy cultivation in different season. Peter de Crescenzi, who is called as father of agronomy. Very important question. See, who is father of agronomy? It is Peter de Crescenzi. From 1230 to 1307 AD, collected many literature on agronomy in his book Opus Ruralium Comodorum. Opus Ruralium Comodorum. So he considered as the father of agronomy, Peter de Crescenzi. Then coming to the modern era or modern period of agriculture, development through scientific agriculture beyond the 1680. It was Francis Bacon in the year 1624, development shown through experimental techniques started. He concluded that water is the principle of nourishment of the plant. It was the one who, Francis Bacon, who demonstrated that what is major requirement for nourishment of the plant. Further, Van Helmont in his willow tree experiment concluded that water was not the sole nutrient for the plant. He took a weight of 5 pounds and planted in a pot containing 200 pounds of soil. The plant was monitored for 5 years. By end of 5th year, the willow till weighted around 164, and it was an indication that water plays a very important role in increasing the weight of the plant. Then Glauber, his saltpeter experiment. The saltpeter, that is KNO3, is the principle of vegetation of water, and not the water was demonstrated by him, but it was both. So he found that earth cleared out from the cattle shed contained a saltpeter. He considered that saltpeter must have come from the urine and excreta and must therefore be the contained in the plant or in animals. Then next, it was Jethro Tull. We call it as father of tillage. In the year 1674 to 1741, he developed horse hoe for the tillage, and he also published a book called as Horse Hoeing Husbandry in the year 1773, and he is considered as father of tillage. The word weed and zero tillage were also used by him for the first time. When Jethro Tull comes into the picture, first is he is considered to be as father of tillage. He wrote a book called as Horse Hoeing Husbandry. The term weed and zero tillage was used by him, but the father of zero tillage is triplex. Arthur Young in the year 1741 published Annals of Agriculture comprehending available literature on agriculture. Annals of Agriculture written by Arthur Henry. Then Priestley in the 1780 mentioned the plant takes carbon dioxide in the form of carbonic acid and gives oxygen. And Robert Ranson, this is very important, Robert Ranson patented first patent of iron share in the year 1785 and self-sharpening share in the year 1803. The cast iron in the year 1785 and self-sharpening share in the year 1803. Then Theodore de Saussure in the year 1804 concluded from his experiment that plant absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and not from the soil, and nitrogen essential for the plant growth and taken up by the soil. Mineral matters are not synthesized in the plant but they are absorbed by the root. This is how the scientific work got progress. It was Theodore de Saussure in the year 1804 concluded about this. Then this is very important. Father of field experiment J.B. Boussingault. Father of field experiment J.B. Boussingault in the year 1838 the large-scale field experiment was done and maintained as a balance sheet. He is considered to be as a father of field experimentation. Then J.B. Lewis and Gilbert started an agriculture experimental station and conducted long-term fertilizer trial through superphosphate and developed that action of rock phosphate and sulfuric acid at Rothamsted, London. Very important 2 points, that is Boussingault, father of field experimentation, where he started the field experimental techniques, and Lewis and Gilbert, they developed started the fertilizer trials with rock phosphate and H2SO4 together. Then Gregor Mendel, who is considered to be as one who worked on the theory of population genetics, father of genetics, discovered the law of heredity, he discovered the law of heredity, the two important laws, law of segregation and law of independent assortment. Then Charles Darwin proposed, after Gregor Mendel, it is Charles Darwin, 1876, proposed theory of evolution and inheritance. Then Miller discovered the Burdach's mixture. What is Burdach's mixture? Even today we use that mixture, copper sulfate, CaO2 plus water in the ratio of 1:1:100 to control the downy mildew of grapes. Then tractor was first successfully designed in 1892, and Thomas Malthus, who proposed the theory of population growth. Then Liebig, who is considered as father of agriculture chemistry, he developed the law of minimum. The growth of the plant is limited by the plant nutrient which is present in the smaller quantity. We'll discuss this in future classes. What are those growth laws? We'll make a separate lecture on the growth laws. Then Blackman, 1905, theory of optima and limiting factor. So when a process is conditioned for its rapidity by number of separate factors, the growth of the plant is defined by the pace of Suez factor. Then Mitscherlich in the year 1909, law of diminishing return. When it increasing growth with each successive addition of limiting element is progressively smaller with respect to the curvilinear. Remember the date and law. Mitscherlich 1909, that is law of diminishing return. Blackman 1905, law of optimal limiting factor. Justice von Liebig, law of minimum 1840. Wilcox 1929, inverse nitrogen law. That is, as nitrogen content increases, yield decreases, was given by Wilcox. And application of electricity in agriculture was started in 1920. A large-scale manufacture of agriculture implement from 1930. This is how agriculture history development started. This is what we have studied. We have made it in a small table from Francis Galton to the Thomas Jefferson, who developed the mold board flow. So this is very important. Thomas Jefferson developed the mold board flow. Yes. Then after world agriculture, how agriculture development started in India. It was Lord Curzon who constructed a great canal in western Punjab, and the Famine Commission appointed in 1888, 1991 stressed on the importance of agriculture research, and his period, we call it as golden period in agriculture. During his regime, agriculture college was started in Pune, Dehradun, Saidapet, and also Hebbal farm in Bangalore and Mysore province in the year 1899. So Lord Curzon period, we call it as golden period in agriculture in India. Due to earthquake in 1934 at Pusa, which is Imperial Agriculture Research Institute, which we call it as earlier, was transferred to New Delhi in the year 1936. and it was named as Indian Agriculture Research Institute, which is one of the largest research institute in the country. Then Royal Commission on Agriculture recommendation that Imperial Council of Agriculture Research was started in New Delhi in 1929, which was later changed to Indian Council of Agriculture Research with the three objectives: to coordinate, that is extension, education, and to disseminate the knowledge gained by the research through literature. Then teaching, research, extension was taken by the this ICR, under ICR, agriculture development in Karnataka. If you see, the agriculture started with the Leslie Coleman, where agriculture research and development in Karnataka initiated by the Leslie Coleman. There are 4 agriculture universities in Karnataka and 1 veterinary university. Yes, the zonal agriculture is under the university will carry out the research specific problem. This is called general things about agriculture. We will discuss in the separate class. Yes, we have finished the introduction and history of agriculture. If you are liking my teaching, please put a like mark and comment what things to be improved. Thank you.